What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and this is Legion TD2 tier list for tier 1s. And I'm going to do two parts. It'll be my opinion for the first tier list, and the second tier list, I will actually show you the win probabilities of these units and where that would actually rank them in a true tier list of the game. But we'll do my opinion first, and then we can even sort of compare and see where I was way off, or maybe I was spot on. So, without further ado, let's get into this tier list. And just in case you want it, I'll be doing tier 2, tier 3, and so forth, also with the win probabilities. So if you're enjoying this, please like, please comment, and tell me where I'm way off. But let's start with Bone Warrior. Bone Warrior is really solid. Alright, it's got the Bone Crusher, Fire Archers, the bones themselves, the health regen. I'm not quite going to put it in S right off the bat. I'm going to put it at A. It's a great unit. I love it in most roles. But I do feel like this splitting feels a little different with Fire Archer lately. Dark Mage. I forgot about Dark Mage too. But yeah, and only one of them is really actually useful in the late game, right? Only Dark Mage could you actually use beyond like wave 15, 16, 17, etc. So I feel like A, Bone Warrior, A tier. Buzz. Buzz. I mean, I love it for Fiesta. It's one of my favorites. And it also will help you to snipe backline because of its ability, right? The Buzz ability does damage after it dies, as well as the Consort does too. And that helps you snipe stuff. But it's very weak to witches, right? Although most tier 1s are weak to witches. And I think I've got to give it the same sort of issue that like Bone Warrior has, where I'm gonna go A. But I think it's above Bones. Where like in the late game, unless your only unit is Consort for like natural or fortified, you're probably not gonna place them, right? And maybe I'm being a little aggressive to these tier 1s here, but I really do feel like Bone Warrior and Buzz are good, but they're not quite beyond great. No, they're great, but they're not beyond great. So Buzz, A tier. Chained Fist with the Final Form Oathbreaker. I'm really thinking it's got to be S tier. I really think it has to be S tier for the Chained Fist. And the reason, early push, plus it has the late game ability now that it has a triple, right? Has the triple ability, not triple up, a triple upgrade, right? And it's actually only a double upgrade, right? I'm just saying stuff at this point. Triple upgrade wouldn't make sense because there's actually only the Chained Fist into Oathbreaker into Final Form Oathbreaker. So it has 3 different forms, but it's not 3 upgrades. Yeah, you get it. But I think it's amazing. The damage reduction, you could Chieftain cheese it, buff it really big. I've seen some crazy things with Butcher Final Form Oathbreaker. I've seen crazy things. Pulverizer on it with how fast it goes. I mean, I feel like I'm rightful in saying that it's S tier. I think so. It's staying. Goblin Copter, Whirlybird. This is tough because it does have an incredible start. I might change this one. This is literally like an A+. I feel like the early push, I've been able to go 7 workers so many times, even when I'm not Fiesta. Even when I haven't been Fiesta, I've been able to go 7 workers with this unit, the Whirlybird, the upgrade of Goblin Copter. And I love that. I love that so much. So I do feel like I'm not that crazy in putting it in the S tier. But if I was to drop something as we go on in this tier list, it's probably going to be the Goblin Copter. A+ for sure. S tier maybe. Let's think about it. Looter. I think workers are way better right now than the Mythium production of looters has ever been. I would say this is probably one of the worst times ever for looter. Waves are so long. You have so many things that pro leak in the early game now. Everybody's sending snails and robos. So you very rarely have like a wave 1 through 5 with no leaks. And that's exactly what you want with pack rats when you're hunting them, right? To generate that 12 mythium. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to put it in D tier or anything like that. But I might overreact and put it in C tier. I feel like they're so mimicable, right? Like you send a mimic, eat up all those little rats. I used to spam them. Rat gun isn't even strong anymore. They nerfed it. They nerfed the HP of the rats. I feel like C tiers is dutiful, right? I feel like it's fair. I feel like it's fair. And I think it needs a friend. Mass Spirit right off the bat. I'm putting in C tier. AoE, another real weakness right now in the meta. Honey Bears, Mole Hermit. You're just so in trouble with Mask, right? You're so in trouble with any AoE unit feels pretty bad right now, with the exception of maybe like the Pulse Bot, Skybots, and Pyro's. Pyro's still cooking. It's awesome that it has the Hellraiser function, right? But I think of the upgradables, right? Like the Proton has the second upgrade, and then the Final Form Oathbreaker, another second upgrade. This one has a second upgrade with False Maiden, and then Hellraiser. I feel like this is 100% the weakest. I feel like it's 100% the weakest. So I don't think I'm that crazy putting it here. I think Mass Spirit is a C tier. I think it is. Pee-wee, I'm gonna go B tier. There's nothing special about it, right? There's nothing special about Pee-wees. Maybe it's A tier. Maybe it is A tier. Just give me a second. Give me a second here. There's nothing special about it, but it's just such a great, cheap, like, arcane tank. And arcane tanks, wave 7 and 8 are probably, with the exception of maybe wave 6, 7 and 8 are probably the most important early game waves. And if you have this, it literally will work on 7, 8, 14, 15, even on 20. You could make some veterans. It has the stim effect. What do I do, guys? Do we put it in A tier? I feel like people would want me to put it in A tier. I'm going to put it in A tier for right now. But I feel like it's the same thing with the Goblin Copter. It's like it's a B+. It's a B+, but there's nothing in between. So I'm going to put it in A. It's an arcane tank. Arcane tanks are just so important. Like, the unit itself, not great, but the typing is great. It's A tier. I have to. Polywogs, Devilfish, Seraphim. Super, super useful for Wave 5 and Wave 6. I'm always thinking about Wave 5, Wave 6. Wave 3, it's also pretty solid. Wave 10, Devilfish are solid. Then kind of falls off for the most part. I feel like it's a B tier. I feel like we've got our first B tier. True B tier. Well balanced. Like B tier's not bad. Don't get me wrong. Like, B tier's not bad. I feel like it's well balanced. Like, I've never played against someone and been like, that was a BS Devilfish, that was a BS Seraphim. And I've also like never been like, wow, those things saved me. Right? It has some weaknesses. It has some strengths. You could use the magic damage from Seraphim's late game, but it wouldn't be amazing, right? It wouldn't be like the best thing ever. But then now I'm like contradicting because like it has some more late game ability than those. But I'm locking in the B tier. I'm locking in Polywog, Seraphim, Devilfish, B tier. I shouldn't even spend any time on this. The invention of Nucleus is probably my second favorite. My favorite new unit or like unit improvement that I've ever seen outside of Crab Warlock. Crab Warlock will forever be my favorite unit in the game, but Nucleus is climbing. Nucleus is climbing. You're telling me that I can spam tier 1, spam protons, have 20 protons on my board. People are making fun of me for it. And then I can upgrade one unit, and now although all those protons are stronger, that sounds pretty cool to me. And they got rid of the mana on Proton itself, so it's not stealing mana from everything else, so I don't have to sell them. I mean, this is like, I should move everything down. Like, genuinely, I should move everything down, because Proton, for me, you are in a realm of your own. You are the GOAT, okay? Of tier 1s. Seedling. I love Fiesta. So Chloropixie Fiesta is awesome. You can leak everything and still win the game. Sakura, they got rid of that double stack. I don't like that. I didn't like that at all. I think in one of my most recent videos, I realized while recording the video that they got rid of the double stack. I don't like Seedling right now, man. It's B or C. It's B or C. I'm gonna put it in C. I'm gonna take a stand. I'm gonna take a stand and say Seedling. What have you done to Sakura? Sakura, like the last year, has gotten weaker and weaker. Okay. Yes, Seedlings allow you to push. We also lost Mythium off of Pixies. I'm taking a stand. These two Mythium bearing units lost in the game, right? Just based on the meta, generates less Mythium. Although that happened a long time ago, just saying. Sakura just doesn't feel that strong to me. Seedling itself is a great unit, right? If this was Seedling only, I'd probably put in A or S, okay? But this is all of the upgrades included, and because of that, I just feel like Sakura and Chloropixie sort of pull it down. I've got to stick in C. I've got to stay in C tier. This is what I'm going with. I'm locking it in. Yep, I'm locking it in. Goblin Copter, you are in S tier. But remember, this is like S double plus, right? This is S double plus. This is S minus. This is just S. This is A minus, right? I'm feeling good. But now, as I told you guys, we were going to do some special things for you. I'm going to include in this video. Hopefully that doesn't screw that up. Okay, cool. That worked. That worked. I never tried that before. What I'm going to include in this video for you guys is the win rates, right? So that was my opinion. You might think I'm stupid. Maybe you fast forward to this part. This is the win rates and the tier list based on that. So let's start with our worst. Seedling. Who could have guessed that the Seedling has the worst? So actually, that's more of like a D tier with that bad of a win rate. Seedling with 45% win rate. That is horrific, right? That is really, really bad. That is underperforming. That is not balanced. In case you're wondering, this is from the last 4 patches and 1600 elo and above. There's probably, with all of these tier 1s, they probably had 100 to 200,000 games played minimum. So I do feel like there's a good set of data here. Nobody's really missing on the data because these units have been out for a long time. So Seedling stinks. Bone Warrior. This one is surprising. Bone Warrior. Yeah, at 45%, like clearly D tier for Seedling based on win probability. Bone Warrior, pretty low. I'm surprised by that. I guess like we're close enough to 50%, but that's gonna be C tier. I think C tier for Bone Warrior. Wow. Same percent. Mass Spirit, we got that one right. Mass Spirit, we're pretty good so far. It's just AoE stinks. AoE is in a bad spot. There needs to be like a I have an idea for a unit. An aura or some type of unit that boosts AoE damage. Okay? Because AoE stinks right now. So a unit or aura that buffs any AoE based unit, right? So the archers would get a buff, the mass would get a buff, flowers get a buff, pyros get a buff, bunk gets a buff. All AoE units. If you have an AoE ability, you do more damage. I think could be cool, but let me know what you guys think. Next up, Pee-wee. All right, I guess that still would be C, right? I thought Pee-wee would have been higher. A little surprised by that one. I would have thought Pee-wee would be closer to 50%, but it's not. So 49.3. We're approaching the 50%. Looter. I kind of taking the L on this one. Maybe it's because they're using it for like the Impact Swift, because that pretty much would be where our Devilfish was, right? Like just an Impact Swift unit, good tanking for like wave 6, decent on 4, decent on 10, and then I guess you could hunt them late game, you know. So I guess it's not that horrific. But then again, I was wrong, right? So I'm not gonna lie to you. I was wrong. I was wrong. All right. And then in order to not spoil everything, I've got to do it like this, because there's got to be buildup. Goblin Copter? Okay, so I screwed up. That should not have been an S tier. Or do you guys think I was right? I mean, it's still close to 50%, right? Maybe people aren't pushing to 7 workers with it and 6 workers, right? Like, the beautiful thing of Goblin Copter is how hard you can push in the early game. So, who knows? I still feel like it's not too bad. Let me know what you guys think. Next, we have Chain Fist. Really? Really? Chain Fist not in S tier? Not above 50%. It's surprising how many of these tier 1s are. That's 7 of the 10 tier 1s are actually below a 50% win rate. Interesting. Interesting. Need some more Final Form Oath Breakers, it sounds like, guys. Buzz. Ooh, dang. Feeling pretty good with my A tier, right? We got that one, right? Buzz, pretty high up there. Touche, touche. Nice. Good job, Buzz. Proud of you. I mean, it's already given, right? So I was right on Nucleus. Devilfish, they actually wanted it to be higher. Oh, yes. That means I got it right on the Nucleus Proton. Poliwag, 52.7. Holy moly. That's crazy when you think about it. Like, can we just take a minute for like the statistics and probability? Seedling, abnormally bad. Everything else, like, really close to the middle. Poliwag, almost on that seedling level where it's actually pulling off from the middle mean. 52.7 is getting pretty far from 50%. So Poliwag, doing pretty well. And your champion of the world, 52.9% Proton, best unit, right? Like, it has to be the number 1, tier 1, right? It just has to be. But I feel like it did pretty decent. I feel like it did pretty okay. I mean, what did I have? I mean, I just recorded the video, right? So I believe I had that. Right. Actually, just so you guys can look at it. Let me give you guys a second to look. This is what we had for the statistics and probability. Just give you guys a second before I change it back to what I had. So we had you in the B tier. Those were my A tier. Yeah, so Bone was off quite dramatically. So I only missed 1, right? Only 1 was off by 2 things. So it's not that bad. No, I had Pee-wee in A tier, didn't I? Yeah, I did have Pee-wee in A tier. So I missed Pee-wee and Bone. My 2 A tiers were not perfect. What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and this is tier 2 of Legion TD2 units, our tier list. I will be going through tier 1, tier 2, all the way to tier 6 with my opinion tier list. I will be ranking them, whether I like or dislike the units. And then, for statistical purposes, at the second part of the video, I will be giving the winning probability tier list. This is based on Drakbot in the past 4 patches. There's massive sample sizes for all of these, from 1600 elo to 3000s and above. I think that should give a fair number for winning probability of these units. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. Angler, I don't love me personally playing it. Anglers into bounty hunters into kingpins. Normally you need sacred steeds to really make it work, or a teammate that leaks a lot. But with all that being said, it's still a really strong unit. If you get even a half-stacked kingpin, it really does work. So for now, I'm going to put it in the A tier, but I'm open to dropping it to B tier. I personally don't love it, but I still have to have some respect for it in the game, right? And when I do play anglers, I usually feel like I play quite well with them. It's just I don't love doing that overbuildiness. But with the meta being overbuildiness, I think it's pretty strong, right? Maybe not the strongest because of brutes in the early game before you get that first kingpin, but I do still feel like it's pretty valid to put it in A for right now. What do you think? Aqua Spirit. A lot of these tier lists I'm going to have AoE not that high. I'm just gonna be honest about that. I feel like AoE's in a really not so great spot. However, the Rogue Wave, one of the two upgrades, the Aqua Spirit and the Fire Elemental, Rogue Wave being the other, boosts all ability damage, right? Not only does it boost its own ability damage from the Aquas and the Fire Elementals, it boosts other AoE ability damage, it boosts all ability damage. So, if you use a Rogue Wave with a single target unit, right? A Disciple, a Halo, then it works, right? I think it's one of the few circumstances where AoE really cooks. I'm putting it in the S tier. I think Aquas are really strong right now, even with the downside of AoE being really weak to most mercs, power mercenaries. I feel good. I feel good about that S tier. And I'm once again going to contradict myself again, because guess what? Bazooka with Zeus and Pyro, an AoE unit, you would think it would be pretty low, but it's another one of those circumstances where I feel like the AoE is still okay. The best unit in the entire game on wave 16 is Pyro. I mean, there's just no doubt about Pyros being the best unit on 16. And I'm trying to think if there's any other unit that literally has 100% the easiest ability to clear. So for right now, I'm going to put it in S tier. I think bazookas should be in S tier. They do incredible DPS as bazookas. Zeus is a fair damage unit for magic, right? Save your butt on 15, on 13. It's an okay start, but Pyro is just so nice. It's player friendly. And you can just lose a game when you send on 16 and somebody drops 4 Pyros and the game's over. So I know I said AoE is normally going to be weak, but in these two circumstances, I think they're S for strong. That's what I'm thinking. Gargoyle. I used to think Gargoyle was a lot stronger. And it's good. It's good. But they reduced the damage reduction on it. You know, I used to Chieftain Cheese this a lot, where you do a Lost Pilgrim and buff, have like 20 of them buffing one big green devil. It's just not as good anymore, in my opinion. Here's what I'm thinking. If I put Gargoyle on B, there's no way that Angler can be an A. I could pull Angler down to make it fair, but I also don't feel like Gargoyle is an A. I'm switching it up. I think if I'm going to put Gargoyle in B tier, which might totally be unfair, Angler's got to be with it. It's a good arcane unit. I'm my mind's breaking. Gargoyle Wave 3 probably earns itself an A tier by itself, right? I was literally saying how Pyro saves you on 16, Gargoyle Wave 3, but Wave 3 is pretty early. Gargoyle A, Angler B, I'm locking it in. Nothing else needs to be said. Golden Buckler, such a boring unit. It's an okay natural tank. It has that reduced damage to ranged units. What do we think? I mean, I'm just thinking B. Like, it's not bad. It's not a bad unit. I'm never happy when I get it. Okay, I wasn't gonna put it in D. I think C tier. I think C tier. All right. Like, when I think of B, yes, I think of balanced, but I just don't know that Golden Buckler's that great, right? I don't know if I can say that Golden Buckler's that fantastic to put it in B. It would be like a C plus, right? I think it'd be like a C plus unit for me. It's a close one. It's close to C plus or a B, you know. but it's just so basic, you know. It's just your normal tank. All of these first 4 units above, Kingpin spam, you could absolutely dominate a game. I guess Green Devil spam would be kind of hard, but Aqua's, Zeus's powers, you could dominate a game. You're not dominating a game with 20 Royal Guards, you know? But I feel good with C. Harpy, it's either A or S. I love Harpies, and I love spamming them. I think I'm going to put it in A tier, and I need you to hear me out on this one. Harpies work with Leviathan, with APS, and with Disciple, right? They all work with those auras very well, right? The faster they get full mana, the more damage they do. But the one thing that's holding it back from S tier for me is that you almost have to build your board around them. And it's not good for the units, right? It's not good for your units when you have to place a unit at the top lane to generate more mana, you know? Or when your tank's already being attacked before your Harpies roll up. With that being said, they're still really strong. They're awesome. And then I was also going to say, with those auras, like if you have a Starcaller back there, that Starcaller takes forever to walk up, right? That Leviathan takes forever to walk up. That's just sort of like not perfect, you know? It's still amazing damage. I love Harpies. I love spamming them. Even in the late game, I still feel like they're decent on 19 and other waves. I'm going to add a Harpy every wave. You've seen how I build. But I can't quite put it in S tier. I can't do it. Howlers, literally Harpies, except they're a melee unit, right? And they do have this stacking ability. I feel like Howlers are A as well. I feel like it would only be fair that they are also an A. I'm actually going to put them above Gargoyle. Not that it matters, but I feel like that stack ability, it's literally the same thing as Ranger. Like, I really don't want to spoil this, but it's probably going to be the same, right? These three are all so similar. These two have the stack ability. Maybe Harpy should be below them, but I just love spamming. I love spamming Harpies up at the back of my board, dude. I really do. But let's stay focused. Sorry. Howlers, they're decent with the Sun Fangs. Could have a little more HP, but I still feel like they're pretty solid. One of the better natural tanks because they have that stacking ability. Feel like a solid A tier, right? I don't think we need to go into too much about Howlers. They're good. Maybe a touch overbalanced, but I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that at all. Rangers, same thing. They have that stacking ability. On a perfect build, you'd always have 3 Daphnes. And they have late game potential, right? You absolutely can place them on 20, 21, late, like super late in the game. The ability damage is crazy, right? The stacking thing is crazy. Helps everybody else do more damage, right? But S tier, ugh. Yeah, S tier. I think it's fair because I'm now thinking about like how many people will tell me why are you not placing Rangers on 21? And so few of these units are like, wow, you really should place that on 21, right? Like you'd have to spam so many Aquas, Pyros, yes, right? Actually, these 3 units pretty good. Like the later the game goes, right? These units are really good throughout most of the game. Kind of fall off. I guess these are great the entire game. Yeah. So I feel good with Ranger and Daphne and S. Let's keep it there. Our kitty cat, Nico Mata. Thinking A and B right off the bat. Somewhere around there. The stacks are awesome. The early game potential is gigantic. Other than Wave 6. And even Wave 6 with the 7-stack cat, you can do fairly well. But how does it stack up later on? And it does good on 10. Bro, is it just everybody in A tier? I think it's everybody in A tier. I've actually been using cats on wave 10 more than ever these last couple months because they actually do a ton of damage on 10. I mean, it's a really good pierce damage unit, right? It actually smacks on 10. Yes, it's arcane and it goes down really fast once it gets targeted, but if it doesn't get targeted, it's still decent. And I used to always say, like, don't place more than 2 cats. I think I might be bumping it up to 3 cats. I think I might be bumping it up to 3 cats. 3 Nico Matas, not that bad. And I love how they heal once they're 7 stacks. Like I said, the early game potential of cats is very good. The later the game goes, not as good, right? Probably feel better about spamming Green Devils on like a wave 20, a wave 15, than I would feel good about spamming cats on 15 or 20, the arcane waves. But I still think A tier is fine for cat. Slime and Slime Siren. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm a little biased, and not in a good way recently. I've had a lot of Slime Sirens not go off. The upgrade of the Slime Siren, if you get that full mana, it's going to put out 3 slimes. If it does not hit that full mana and you're 1.2 mana off, then you get 1 slime. It is the difference between holding and leaking, winning and losing. And for that reason, there's no way that I could put it in S or A tier. I'm sorry, I can't put slimes. I want to. She's so bad. The Slime Siren. Am I going to make a statement right here with slimes, or am I going to just go with balanced? I liked how they were before the most recent patch, right? They felt so good, and then they got nerfed just a little bit. I'm going to give it a B-. I'm going to say they're fairly well balanced. They're fairly balanced. I wish that it's like best counterpart, like Steeds, right? Sacred Steeds. Make sure you get the full mana, and then it's going to make sure you get those 3 slimes out. But then you have 2 arcane tanks. I wish there was an easier way to generate the full mana, right? Without having to have 2 arcane tanks. But I feel like, let's say they're balanced. It's good enough, right? I'm going to say balanced. So we've got our Buckler as our worst in the C. Just so boring. There's nothing good from it, right? Like, it's probably balanced. It probably should be B tier, but I feel like it's just so boring. I can't give it balanced, right? I feel like these are relatively balanced right now. Yeah, they're okay. Slime and Angler. We got a really strong early to mid game units with Harpy, Howler, Gargoyle, Cat, and then I would say Aqua, Bazooka, and Ranger have full game potential beyond the early game. Some of these units literally the entire game, right? Like sniping back line, incredible AoE, incredible single target, right? Like these are the real juicers. And yes, Howler does have incredible single target, but it can get sniped. A ranged unit can't get sniped. So that's going to be my opinion side of this tier list. Let's go ahead and jump to the next part. Let's go ahead and reset them. All right, we've reset them. And now let's talk about statistics. Let's talk about win probability. The worst unit of the tier 2s is Angler. And it's bad. I mean, genuinely, I wish I could add F tier. That is the worst. I'm just going to guess right now. I'm going to take a guess. I'm going to take a long shot and say that is going to be the worst winning percentage of any unit in this entire tier 1 through tier 6. That is incredibly bad. That is awful. And I guess people are just not using them correctly. I mean, I can't even comprehend why it was so low. I'm going to be honest, I went back a couple extra patches on Anglers. Yeah, that's really bad. So Angler, 100% the worst of the worst. Pretty embarrassing, but that's why I don't play them. Gargoyle, surprisingly, was not great. C tier. Yeah, Gargoyle also not a great win rate, but I mean, it's not Angler, right? It's not that bad. I don't know why Gargoyle is that bad, to be totally honest with you. But it is. So watch out for that. Maybe it just falls off after like wave 3, 7, and 8. Ranger. Okay. Now I got a problem. Now I got a problem with that one. I don't understand that. I really don't understand how Ranger is that low. I feel like I fought pretty hard to put Ranger in my S tier, and yeah, I'm gonna have to check that one out. Please play Ranger better, or hear me out. Don't play Ranger better, so that it gets buffed, right? And then I can play even better with them. It's possible. Slimes, I can totally understand Slimes. I feel like we were sort of on the money with Slime. We had a feeling it used to be pretty strong. Now it's like, it's so close to the middle. They're not where they once were. They're just not, right? Still okay, but they're not the best. Aqua Spirit. Man, tier 2s, you're doing me pretty dirty here. Tier 2s are really hitting me in the face here. We know AoE's bad. I really, in the future tier list, I'm even going to have the breakdown winning probabilities, if you guys would ever want this. I mean, this would be like a nerdy of nerdy. But I'm going to have like Angler 40.2, Bounty Hunter 43.1, and so on. Because I feel like Aqua Spirit's Rogue Wave should be super high. And maybe it's the Fire Elemental that's bringing it down, right? Because per that tier 1, any upgrade is still going to include the winning probability. But yeah, you guys aren't using that Rogue Wave correctly. That's my only guess. That is my only guess there. Golden Buckler. Okay, I would have liked it a little lower, but I guess it was balanced, right? Whoops. I guess that's exactly what we're saying, where it was closer to being balanced, and it's just so boring. It's just, it has nothing good to it, but clearly it's so close to 50% that it's fine, right? It's a fine unit. There's nothing to be upset about. I'm tired of wasting time on it. Howlers? Yeah, I mean, they were our A tier, so we got one right. Right? We got one right. Our first one right. But still with that winning probability, I'm not thrilled. But I will say, I do know the winning probabilities of all these. Tier 2s stink. Tier 2s kind of stink in the winning probability. I'm kind of blowing my load 3 units early, but yeah, the winning probabilities of tier 2s are quite down heavily. Probably the weakest of all the tiers. Bazooka 48.9. We're doing pretty decent here at the top. Our top units were fairly close. At least I had some wins. Bazooka in A tier per winning probability. Good job, Bazooka. Nico Mata just above it. I mean, honestly, these 48%ers, right? Our last four units right here are pretty darn close. Pretty darn close together. And finally, we have Harpy, 49.3, right? So just take this with a grain of salt, guys, that none of the tier 2s have a higher than 50% win rate. So once again, that's just winning probability. And yeah, the good thing, right, if you want to take it with a grain of salt, is that I did pretty darn well about my A and S tier, right? A and S tier was only missing the Aqua, and then I guess the Ranger. But I didn't do that bad, right? It wasn't that horrific. What did you guys think? Are you just as surprised as me that everything is below 50% on tier 2s? And are you surprised by Angler being that bad? 40% win rate. That is like crazy. When you think about balancing, that's really bad. But the tough thing about Angler is it's so abusable that if they did buff it, then it's going to be the flip-flop and people are going to be complaining, it's too strong, it's too strong. So it's one of those really tough units to really tough units to nerf, buff, overall just keep in a solid space. But that's what's up, guys, and welcome to tier 3 of my ranking all Legion TD2 units, tiers 1 through 6. Today we're doing tier 3 units, and just in case you want to stick around for the whole video, the first part will be my opinion, and the back half will be the win rate probabilities in a tier list. And I heard you guys loud and clear. Just because something has the highest win rate of that specific tier doesn't mean it should be in the S tier list or the A tier list. So I will say, I heard you guys were very upset. You probably need a 50% or higher win rate to be an A or S, but we'll deal with that when we get there. First, let's start with my opinion. Dwarf Banker. I don't like the bankers right now. They used to be really strong, and I just don't love them, but I also feel like they're still doable. I feel like they're still strong. It's an overbuild meta. So I'll put them in B for balanced. They used to be broken, right? You could just overbuild with bankers the whole time, generating tons and tons of gold as long as they didn't die. Now it's just like a flat rate per wave. Like every wave is just sort of flat. This is how much you'd get on wave 1. This is how much you'd get on wave 5. Where before it was like you could generate to the maximum really quickly and then get that maximum over and over. But I think they're okay, you know? And I guess they can do more damage when you stim them. So they don't get gold, but they do more damage. So I think bankers are okay. Once again, I don't love playing them, but I do think they're in an okay spot. Gate Guard? I love Gate Guard. I mean, I think I'm going right to S tier. Gate Guard, one of the best units in the game. It's a spawner. It's a 5-work starter. The only reason that I don't play it more is because I'm notorious for getting snailed on 1, right? I'm notorious for getting snailed on 1, and a snail into a Gate Guard, although it doesn't destroy your build. It doesn't help it, right? Like you're either A, you have to build a split with like a tier 1, and then you're not 5 workers at the start, or B, you accept like a 33, 25, 42% leak on wave 1. And then that might hurt your gold, right? You might have had 85 gold for a warg, but now you have to place a steed or an infiltrator with your 80 gold because you lose a little bit when you leak. But with that being said, I still think super strong. The early game potential of Gate Guards is great. And you probably can even spam them late game too. I wouldn't recommend it. I normally probably build 2 or 3 max, and then into Harbingers for the rest of the game. But still very good. Infiltrator. This is a tough one, right? Because of the shurikens. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Spending gold to do that magic ability damage and throwing the shurikens. I just recently lost the game, right? So I'm a little biased, where I kept shurikening 60 gold, 60 gold, 60 gold. That's 3 orchids, full shurikening, 3 waves in a row. And then I got absolutely cooked on the wave that they sent. And honestly, I think I would have held had I held my discipline and not shuriken those 3 waves. But I still think it's awesome. You know, like it still helps you kill a GK, helps you kill a Kraken, right? It helps you kill those big sends that people do. I want to put it in B or A. I'm going to put it in A just because I like it more than Banker. But I wouldn't be surprised if more people have those flipped. Me personally, I like Infiltrator. It's a good Swift tank. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good with it. Pirate Skeleton. I really liked this unit at first, when it first came out. But now that I'm really starting to learn the game more and more, the amount of gold that you lose when you place 2 skeletons is a lot. I mean, it's 16 gold, right? So that you sell them for 90% a piece. So it's 80 gold a unit. It's an 80 gold unit. And you can sell it for 90%, which is 72. So you lose 8 gold, 8 gold. All right? Me personally, that stinks. And also, me personally, I add these pirate skeletons whenever I have them in my roll way too many times. So I'm losing 8 gold here, 8 gold there, 8 gold there, and I don't even realize it. But it's still like a Grarl. It still has massive potential. The Scallywag is awesome. Is it B or A? Like, I'm going to put it in B for now, but I almost feel bad putting it below Infiltrator. But I do feel like Infiltrator's ability is better than Skeleton's ability. As crazy as that sounds. Yeah, I like that. And I'm going right for it. Sacred Steed, yes, it's a support unit, right? It's not like you could only build Sacred Steeds and win the game. But it is the only mana generating unit in the game outside of Starcaller, and that's an aura. Steed is probably the most important unit in the entire game. I don't think there's any unit more important than Sacred Steeds. I'm not saying it's my favorite unit, but the importance of it is beyond belief. You know, I mean, literally, if you guys can tell me one unit that will help probably 70% of all units in the game, please tell me, because I feel like Sacred Steed is the only one. I guess a Dark Mage, but guess what? Dark Mage requires mana, right? So every unit that you're going to tell me that can help everybody else, yes, Dark Mage gives the buff. Touche. But Sacred Steed is needed to get that buff out quicker. So, same thing with, well, I guess Rogue Wave ability damage. That would be a similar one. But let's stay focused on Sacred Steed. I still feel like S tier, support, whatever. It's amazing. You can do crazy things with unlimited steeds, right? You just can. 1 Halo, 20 steeds, Starcaller steeds, Azeria steeds, Boomtree steeds. Like, there's just so many good things. Too many. Sea Dragon. Kind of sucks now. I feel like Sea Dragon, the heal, once again, I'm biased, but a lot of my games that I've used Sea Dragon recently, I'm actually not using all their mana, especially when I turn them into Life Binders, the upgrade. I'm not seeing their mana get fully used. So I'm going to put it in B. Like, it's still a good unit. It's still a good healing unit. I prefer Desert Pilgrim over the Sea Dragon. I don't want to spoil the next episode, but I'm telling you right now, Desert Pilgrim's going to be higher than Sea Dragon. It's still a good early game unit. You know, Yozora Sea Dragon, Berserker Sea Dragon. You could even get away with Nightmare Sea Dragon. It's great for Wave 5, as long as it tanks the boss correctly. But I just feel like it's not an amazing unit. It's a good unit. It's a balanced unit, right, for B. But I don't think it's that great for me, personally. But still, it's okay. Sea Serpent. This is sort of like Gateguard. This is sort of like Gateguard, where, like, I personally don't use Serpents that often. Let's put it in A. I certainly don't use Sea Serpents that often. But when I do, they're pretty decent, as long as you don't get them sniped, right? I don't think I could ever put them in S tier because of how easily they can get sniped. I'm notorious for adding a split, right? Well, that split will go right to your backline. So it's almost like with Sea Serpents, you need to not have a split, which is kind of a downside. Like, yeah, now your Sea Serpents are going to do more damage, but you don't have that delay, so it's like, there is a way to split and not have it attack your Serpents, but you have to have a brain. As you guys can see, I don't have one of those. But I've been losing to so many people that just place like 3 Serpents to start the game, or they have like 5 Deep Coilers by wave 13, 12. It's a really good unit. Helps you snipe the backline if done correctly. And I think that's why it's great in A. It has S tier potential, but it takes a whole lot of a whole lot of technique to get up to the S tier. Steeds you can just throw down. Gate guards, you could have 200 gate guards and only place gate guard only. You could win a gate guard only. Sea serpents, I don't know. I feel like it requires that extra step. So I can't give it the S tier. Tempest, flying force. Is flying force A or B? I like that a lot of these tier 3s are actually, for me, they're pretty useful. I feel like if I checked my stats, a lot of these tier 3s, outside of the banker, I would probably have them just everywhere on my win rates. I'm feeling like Tempest is an A tier. It has the Leviathan buff, and it can do a double buff. No other unit in the game has a double buffer. So for that reason, I think it's got to be pretty high up there. Literally the only aura that can double up. That's right. If you didn't know that, you know that now. Leviathan, if you upgrade Tempest to Leviathan, creates a buff, right? Your flying units will do more damage. You can have 2 of those. You can have 2 Leviathan buffs. Super useful. But I feel like they kind of fall off in the late game, so I feel like it's a great unit. And it's like a support unit more than its own unit. Like Leviathan, Hades, Skybots nowadays, Halos, but Halos are kind of weak. So it does have a lot of potential with making a great build. But I don't feel like it itself can make a great build without having like that extra juice. I feel like A is fair. You let me know. Is it too high? Is it too low? I feel like I'm good right there in A. And I think it should be in front of Infiltrator. Dude, maybe Infiltrator should be dropped, but I don't know. We're gonna figure it out. Trent. Is it A? Is it S? Once again, I love Trent. I'm gonna go with A because I've had a lot of boom trees not clear the whole wave. Recently, I've had some trouble with my my Trents. I would have said they would be S tier always and forever, but I think for right now, I think I'm gonna have to drop them 1 degree. I'm dropping my Trents down 1 degree. I'm sorry, I have to do it. They have the harden effect for the first couple of waves you've placed them. They have the ability to become a tree of life. They have the ability to become a tree of knowledge. But I feel like tree of life only works for a couple of units, right? Gates, it works amazing. And if you're going for that like God combo Sovereign or Doppel, that's awesome. And then Boom Tree also has potential with like amazing AoE on 12, 16, you know. But it's an AoE unit, and you know what I always say, AoE's pretty weak right now. So I'm gonna go with A tier. Still one of my favorites. Honestly, it's probably when you click on your profile in Legion TD2, it'll say like the 4 or 5 units you've used the most. I'm gonna guess that mine has Trent and Steed up there. In my top 4. But I just can't put it in the S tier for me right now. I feel like it's a little weaker than it was for a while. Warg. I'm gonna go with B tier. I'm gonna go high B tier, like a B+. It's a great unit, don't get me wrong. But, and how do I say this in the best way possible? I'm kind of smart when it comes to Legion. Everything else, I'm a doofus, okay? But even with my Legion smarts, I cannot for the life of me build perfect warg circles. Like, I always will end my build. If I have a warg heavy build, I end with 1 perfect warg and then a ton of 3s. I can't get it. I can't figure out how to get those perfect lioness circles. Just in case you don't know, the warg has 2 upgrades. One is lioness, where if it has a unit touching it that is more value than it, it will give it a buff up to 6 buffs. So you can make a really strong lioness, tons of really strong lionesses. The alpha male, if it touches something that has more value than it, gets a debuff. So if you were like the best player ever, right? You would have you'd have what, 3 alpha males and then 3 units that are less than alpha male, like an orchid, less than alpha male but more than lioness. It's really complex. It's not easy to figure out. Even I am not great at it. But they're still really good units. It's a good natural tank. But because of its complexity, and I would say it's even more complex than the serpents, I'm putting in B. I just am. Willowshroom. I don't know why. I feel like somebody belongs in the C tier. And once again, this is something I can't place on wave 1 because I get snailed. And even if I did get snailed, it's not a great fiesta. It's an okay fiesta. I don't know. I just Willowshroom I used to like, but I feel like it's so brutable. It's so mimicable. It has a lot of weaknesses. I just don't love it. You know, like it goes with Flying Force, but it's probably one of the worst Flying Force units in the whole game because it really doesn't do any damage. And then if you use this as your Impact Arcane unit on like 7 or 8 or on 14 or 15, you already start with less HP. And that is the unit that needs to have the most HP, right? It's not like you have tanks for your Willishrooms and for your canopies. It's your canopies and your Willishrooms. They're supposed to be tanking for your other stuff. And I feel like they're a support unit, that it should be a carry unit based on the statting, right? Just how it has to heal back. I don't know. I don't love Willowshroom right now. I'd like to check my win rates on that. I don't think it'd be very high. But somebody had to be in the C tier, and I think Canopy Willowshroom, you're where you belong. Windhawk. Windhawk is AoE as the Violet, so I do have to keep that in mind. It's an okay fiesta. A lot of people will trick people with this as they build it early, because you're like, oh, are they fiesta? Are they not? You leak a couple of creeps on 1, but it's an okay leak because you're 5 workers. And then sometimes you just go Violet on 2 and just completely just mind screw people. I feel like it's just balanced. I feel like it's another balanced unit. I feel like the tier 3s are relatively strong, but most of them are well balanced. Violet being AoE has to get knocked a little bit, but it can save you on those early important waves. The wave 5, the wave 6s, still decent on 9. It can be a really bad wave 16 or wave 12 AoE unit, but it's still AoE, which can be helpful. But then we know how weak AoE is. I'm going to say it's okay. I think it's okay in B. It's an average unit, right? I think it's well balanced. And if AoE ever got like a buff, then I'd put it in A tier. But for now, I think B tier is where it belongs. All right, so how am I feeling about this tier list? Let me just check it one more time. Willowshroom really getting the C tier. Yep, I think it deserves it. There's a world where Banker should also be C tier, but like sometimes I do these tier lists, in my opinion, based on how I feel about the unit. And then sometimes I feel like I do it based on how everybody else feels about it. This time, I'm trying to do more of like my bias and everybody else's bias. I feel like people like Bankers. They still feel like they're good. I don't love them. I don't really dislike them. It's just not my playstyle, but I feel like they're okay in the B. Skeleton, yeah, because it's so much gold lost. Sea Dragon, always still health left over, not using all of it. Violet is AoE. Warg is tough to use, but still good units. Even the Banker. Infiltrator, I really do like you can have a non-magic damage unit and still hold 15 with enough shurikens. The Flying Force, everybody loves Flying Force. Serpents, everybody loves Serpents right now. I love Trent, right? I don't know how everybody else feels about this. I love doing Tree of Life cheese. I love spamming boom trees. I just wish they would kill some more stuff, being that it's AoE. Gate Guard, always going to be one of the greats. That 5-worker start, spamming dogs is just crazy. And then Steed's like the best support unit of all time. So I feel good with that. So now let's get into the win probabilities. Now that we've reset our tier list, let me just say beforehand, as I said at the start of this video, people were very upset that let's say one of these units has a 49% win rate and that's the highest. Beforehand, I had put that in S tier. I should not have done that. Clearly, you guys are not thrilled about that. So I will try to be like, okay, D tier is like 45% or less, like a really, really bad unit. C tier is like your under 48%. B tier is 48 to 50. A tier is above 50%. And then S tier would be like a crazy like 52, 53%, like something like, whoa. Maybe 51, maybe 52. We'll see. But just so you guys know, I won't have something in S tier that has a 48 or 49% win rate just because it's the best of the tier 3s. Okay? I won't do it. So here are the win probabilities based on the last 4 patches, 1600 and up elo. The first unit, the worst unit, is Pirate Skeleton. And that is below 45%, so that's going right into the D tier. Pirate Skeleton. It's got to be the gold lost, right? It has to be the gold lost. I'm not surprised by that win rate. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of gold lost, especially now with Scrapper. This unit kind of becomes worse when you think about Scrapper, right? With that new invention of that Mastermind, this unit becomes worse, which kind of sucks. But yeah, Pirate Skeleton, you stink. Infiltrator, 47 points. And now I look like a doofus, right? So we'll put that in the C tier. Infiltrator, I kind of fought hard for that to be an A tier. I'm a little surprised by that one. I wouldn't have thought Infiltrator would be that bad, but maybe people are doing the exact same thing I'm doing and doing way too many shurikens. It's quite possible. Willishroom, 48.1%. Okay, these are still in the 48s. I know I said let's do 48.5 and higher in B tier, right? Maybe it should be 50. Willishroom in the C tier. I got that one right. That's pretty cool. It just doesn't feel like a great unit. Like it's okay, but it's not gonna like change your game. You're not gonna do your roll at the start. Bam, Willishroom comes up, and you go, oh my god, I've got Willishroom. No, I don't think you're ever going to go like that. 48.6%. I'm going to put this in B because it's closer to mine. Okay, 48.6 is balanced. It's close enough to the middle. Okay, Tempest, you belong in B tier. Okay, it's Flying Force. Okay, Flying Force, it's a good unit. We're putting it in the B tier for the win probabilities. Close enough to 50%. Fairly balanced. Trent? Yeah. I mean, it's good. I would have liked it higher, but I'm telling you right now, it's probably based on the Tree of Knowledge. Or people trying to Trees of Life. Have you ever seen that before? I've seen that before. The Tree of Life unit, Tree of Lifing a Tree of Life. It is Tree of Life Inception. I've seen it before, and I got to tell you, I don't think it worked. It looked cool, but it didn't work. Windhawk, 49.3. We're getting closer to those A tiers. Solid unit. It's a great start. Like I said, the win rate is probably relatively touched by doing a Violet on 2. A lot of people will do that, and it's strong. I mean, you can push quite a few workers up until like wave 4 and farther. So, yeah, Windhawk, B tier, still pretty good. Sacred Steed, 49.4. If this had been the last videos, I would have put it in the A tier. But like I said, it's still under that 50%, so I won't be biased. I'll put Sacred Steed in the B since it's still under 50%. But Sacred Steed's amazing. Like, come on, we all know it. Gate Guard, 49.6%. Pretty solid. A lot of close to 50% here on the tier 3s, which is great. You know, you want pretty balanced units. Where the heck is Banker? This is kind of weird. Sea Dragon. What the? Okay, that's got to be A tier, right? We've broken the 50s. We're at 50.9%. We have to go with an A tier there. Sea Dragon in A tier. I didn't see that one coming. Maybe they have steeds or APS on it or something, because I don't know how they're using all the mana, right? Or all their health, right? Their health is mana, pretty much. Maybe I need to play some more Sea Dragon, or take a look at some more top games of Sea Dragon, because I think it's good, but I didn't think it was on the great to like excellent level. But statistically, impressive. Warg, 51.1%. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. Everybody else knows how to do the lioness circles that I do not know, right? Like I said, I'm kind of a doofus, but it seems like more people are not doofuses, and they actually know how to correctly get more than 3 buffs on their lionesses without having an alpha male debuffed, right? Well played, everybody else. You're better than me. Impressive win rate on Warg. And the second place is Serpent. Serpent right there, 51.4%. And I'm not surprised. Everybody's playing Serpents. Everybody's playing Serpents and kicking my butt lately. I need to, like, if I get a Serpent game and I feel really confident with the role, I need to fix my split or get rid of it and just, like, guarantee that my Serpents cook. Because if you let the Serpents cook, they will cook. But if you let the Serpents get sniped, right, and they're the ones that die first, it's pretty bad. So you're telling me that the highest win probability of tier 3 units in Legion TD2 the last 4 patches is Banker? Banker is the S tier unit of tier 3s? Bankers? Wow. I mean, it's an overbuild meta, right? That's what I've always said. So not only are you holding, you're generating a little bit of gold. Not as much gold as you used to. But hey, Banker meta, man. Use those top 4 units, you know? Overbuild with some Bankers. Maybe you put the Bankers on the Lioness circles, you know? And then you heal the Lionesses with some Sea Dragons. There's some ideas. But those are the win probabilities of the tier 3s. I'm only surprised by the Banker and maybe the Infiltrator being a little bit lower than I'd like. Skeleton, just lose so much gold. Not surprised. Serpents, bunch of baloney. Not surprised. And Steeds, I mean, like, I love Steeds, but they're still a support unit. So, like, if you're supporting a garbage mana unit, like a Halo or something, you know, then it makes sense that it wouldn't be that good, you know. It depends who you are supporting as Steeds. What's up, guys, and welcome to tier 4 of my tier list of Legion TD2 units. And as in the previous videos, I will be giving my opinion, a tier list based on how I feel about the units, and then in the end, I will do a tier list based on win probabilities of the last 4 patches, and S tier will be for like 50% or higher, like really good units. So we might not have an S tier, and we might not have a D tier. It depends on win probabilities. But without further ado, let's get into my part of the tier list, my opinion, and let's just start off with APS. I think APS is okay. APS, an aura-based unit. I'm not going to take it in most roles because I need to have Zeus's. I need to have a bunch of Sakuras. I need to have a super powered Leviathan Hades that I also want to add APS to, or Gates. But with all that being said, I don't necessarily think that it's a bad unit, right? I would never put it in C or D. I think it's perfectly balanced. Honestly, I don't think it's ever changed. Since I started playing, 4 years ago, I don't think I've ever seen, at least to the aura amount, to the 10% and then 15% attack speed increase. I don't think I've ever seen it change the entire time. So I feel like it's a B tier, right? It's right where it needs to be. It's well balanced. I'm not jumping for joy. Oh, Doomsday APS, that's the biggest one. I'm not jumping for joy when I get APS, but with certain combos, I'm like, okay, this can work. So, Butcher, I think Butcher, although it is an aura unit, just like APS, I think I would use it in more roles than APS. And I've done some weird Butcher stuff before, and it works, right? I've seen people do Adam Butcher and beat me, right? I've seen Flower Butcher and beat me. I mean, I've seen all different unit combinations beat me, but that's besides the point. Butcher, it's a good aura. I do like having that double buff on like sovereigns, on doppelgangers, even on gates sometimes. And because it does interact with the Legion spell, you could literally have triple vamp. And then maybe Tree of Life something, right? Like, I go crazy for Butcher combinations. Not as much as I like APS, I wouldn't go as crazy. But I feel like Butcher, A tier. It's pretty strong. Don't nerf it. Like, I'm not saying it's too strong, but I do like playing with Butcher. Crab Warlock, just throw it in S tier. We all know Crab Warlock, it's my favorite unit. You can literally play Crab Warlock in 100 million different ways. You could play Crab Warlocks as Siesta and be okay with leaking. You can play Crab Warlocks as covering somebody that leaks the whole wave. You can do Crab Warlocks in the late game and win king races. I mean, it's just like the only thing that really stops Crab Warlocks is like witches and stuff. Witches, I guess pack leader's pretty strong now too. But I love crabs. It's my favorite unit. Everybody always asks, what is your favorite unit? It's Crab Warlocks. I've had the best games with it. They're the most fun because I love being able to either A, cover the mid, or B, get covered in the mid. No other unit is like that, right? No other unit, even Sea Dragons, even Ocean Templar Gates, there is an end to those, right? There's an end to their health or to their spawning, but not when it comes to Crab Warlocks. Those things are forever. So definitely S tier. Dude, I've been loving Casket lately. I've had some great classic games. I've had some great ranked games. I like the damage reduction. Honestly, it's really close to S tier for me. For me, I love Caskets. I don't play it as much as I probably should, just because I am scared of AoE. But I feel like in terms of AoE, I don't think it's that bad, right? I feel like Casket is pretty strong for me. And I prefer having Casket Pierce Arcane over Elite Archer Arcane, just because normally I'm going for crabs or some better type of damage, right? So I'd rather have my Pierce Arcane unit as a tank than I would as a DPS like Archer. So just so you know, Archer's going down. Archer is not going to be too high. You know what? Let's just skip right to Archer. But yeah, like I said, I think Casket's really strong. You do have to know how to use it. You can't split. You don't want to miss the cast. And you need a little bit of tankage in front of it because it is still doing damage with that with the casket knives falling down or whatever. Do we put Archer in C or B? Dude, I just feel like Archer stinks. I just feel like Archer's so bad. So bad. And now that the mole is stronger, I don't know. I feel like Archer is... The one good thing for Archer is the ability to split on like wave 5. That's the only thing I can think of. I like playing Archer, but I don't win a lot of those games. Okay, I don't win a lot of those games. I really am going to say Archer just falls off so hard in the late game. Like, I don't think any of these other tier 4s fall off as hard as Archer. Like, literally, you could place APSs in the late game. You could place caskets. Butchers could fall off, but I mean on gates, I could see it on gates or on sovereigns. Crabs, of course, the whole game. Yes, 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 yeah. Every one of those. If you're placing archers on wave 20 or 21 or 18, even 19 archers, I've seen like 10 Trinity archers leak on wave 19 on value. Archers, you belong in C because you are crap. Okay, I'm still going to play them because I still like playing them. But in terms of actually being good, no, they are not. Desert Pilgrim. I feel like it's a B tier. I feel like it's balanced. I feel like it's a mid unit. You know, it's in the middle of the game. Does have that early split ability, bit better than Archer. Not a great start though. It also has the ability to do Chieftain Cheese with the Lost Chieftain upgrade. But Chieftain Cheese is so weak in the current game. Even in classics, I really haven't had it do anything crazy lately. But I do like the heal ability from the Desert Pilgrim. I think if I was gonna break this down, and I don't want to get you guys hopes up, because this would be like a super in-depth tier list. But if I went with the upgrade of Lost Chieftain, I think that would be C tier, and I think Desert Pilgrim would be A tier. Just because I do like that heal. But because it's the same unit, right, I'm ranking these as the conglomerate. I'm going to go with B tier. Still like Pilgrim is pretty balanced. Some magic damage, right? Has that heal ability. It's decent. I feel good with that. Wanderer. Eternal Wanderer. Samurai. Sometimes the amount of seconds it takes to come back sort of messes with me. I'm going to say it's high B. It has a chance to go into A tier. I think it has a chance to go into A tier, but I'm not locked in on either A or B right now. But yeah, with Wanderer, like as many like good situations as it has for the late game, similar to APS, as I said earlier, I'm never like gonna see it in a roll and be like, oh my goodness, I rolled Wanderer. Yes, I want to do my entire build around that. No. It's like, okay, this is a good fortified tank. Oh, I'm going for Poda, or oh, I'm going for lead archer. Oh, I need some split delay. Or I'm going for crabs. I want extra delay. Okay, I'll take Wanderer. You know, it's okay, right? And let's just jump ahead to it's like Mudman. I'm gonna say Mudman and Wanderer. They're the exact same unit. The only difference between Mudman and Wanderer is their abilities, right? The only difference between Mudman and Wanderer. Wanderer has the locked in 3-second delay, whatever the delay is, for when it comes back to life. Whereas Mudman has the harden ability, right? And the deharden, right? So there's a little more flavor to Mudman, but I don't think it necessarily makes it better. I don't think it makes it better than Wanderer. I probably prefer Wanderer over Mudman just because you can't screw it up, right? But it's still really good. It's still really good for a lot of situations. But I still think it's on the B tier. Still middle marker. Nothing too impressive. I feel like it's kind of the same unit, right? I feel like Mudman and Wanderer are kind of the same unit, but B tier for both. Grarl. This is probably the toughest unit out of all tiers to rank. I don't think there's any other unit. Please let me know if you think of a unit that is as hard to rank as Grarl. Because Grarl itself is like F tier, right? Grarl itself is F tier. It's probably one of the worst statted units in the entire game. It is horrific. In addition, right, that selling for 90%. Now there's Scrapper, which kind of makes Grarl even weaker, right? So Grarl itself sucks. There's no mincing words on that. King Claw is pretty good. A lot better for classics. And Ocean Templar got nerfed, right? Or at least recently. I guess it just got buffed, but I haven't really played it that much. The The main nerf was that the Ocean Templar lost the magic resistance, which was a huge thing. I'm gonna take a big stand here. I'm putting Grarl in my C tier. I'm not happy with Grarl, right? Mainly because they killed the Ocean Templar. Really, if they hadn't touched the Ocean Templar's magic resistance, I'd probably put it in A or B, right? It would be similar to the Wanderer, where it's like a B plus, A minus. But when you take that away, it makes so many units bad now, right? Like you had Ocean Templar Gates that then had that magic resistance. Now they don't, right? You could use this to help you on wave 14 or 15, right? Now you don't, right? Oh, the Ocean Templar does more damage now. Nobody's using Ocean Templars as damage units, okay? So I'm not happy with Grarl. I'm putting it in C tier. Yeah, I think it stinks. Honeyflower. This is such a tough one, man. This is such a tough one. Because I've been complaining about AoE being nerfed for so long. But is it A or is it B? I'm just thinking of how many wave 16s I've lost to people placing 3 death caps, right? How many wave 12s I've held like a 500 send because I place 1 death cap and 1 flower. I think it's A. I think flower is pretty solid, man. Like, yeah, there's honey bears, yeah, there's mole hermit. But not only are they doing damage, they're also a tank, and I think that's what gives it the boost, right? If you think of Elite Archer, it's just damage. Just gets incinerated once it leaks. So you can have all the damage nulled, right? Even Mask, you can have all the damage nulled. But these 2 units, I'm gonna pair Casket and Flower. They still are really good tanks. Great arcane tank, great natural tank. And they still do some damage, even if you're sending to stop all AoE. I'm feeling good. I feel good about my A. Flower, you're A tier. Our final unit, Warpwing. This is so controversial because I actually used Warpwing when it first came out, and then it got nerfed, and I still used it. And then the second nerf, I stopped using it. I used this unit to get all the way to 3,000 elo. Okay, some people say that my push to 3,000 elo was kind of unfair because I just spammed Warpwing. Okay, and I did. I locked it in every game. Gained like 300-400 elo. But what it is now is just a remnant of the past. Like it's not the same unit. Does that crazy damage reduction. Yes, it has the pure damage, which is cool. Kind of tanky. I want to put it in C, right? But I think it's balanced, you know? It's balanced. It's probably above there. It's probably right there. And then that. Right there. There we go. It's okay. Like, if you pair it with, like, some Tree of Life stuff or some Ocean Templar stuff, it's probably a lot better. But I just don't play Warpwing that much anymore. So, my opinion of it is just really, like, midline. It's okay. And, like, I'll play it if I get a YOLO or Chaos or something. But I'm very rarely going to build a role around it. Just because, like, it's in that sort of carry position, right? Like, Warpwing is sort of a carry, a DPS unit. And I would just prefer so many other units than Warpwing. I just would. But I don't think that takes away from the fact that it's still pretty decent, right? It's decent. Warpwing, you're mid-mark for me. All right, so that's going to be it for my opinion. I'm very happy that we have Crab Warlocks at the top. Casket's been impressing me. These 2 units have been depressing me. So I'm feeling pretty good. So now we'll get into the next part, which is going to be the win rates of the last 4 patches. These are pretty large sample sizes. These are from 1600 elo and above, which is probably going to be like 95% of all games played. So without further ado, the worst unit in the last few patches of tier 4s is Cursed Casket, which makes me look a little dumb, right? Makes me look pretty silly that I put Cursed Casket in A. But in the nicest way possible, I'm gonna blame the player base on this one. Sometimes it's like, oh yeah, I could see that this being the worst winning rate, right? Like Kingsguard, you could totally see it. You know, other units you can totally see it, like pack rats and stuff. This is sort of similar to pack rats, right? Where like I just don't think the people understand that you need to not split with casket. Like the casket has to hit the whole wave. But hey, it is what it is. Has a really low win rate. I like casket still. Archer, yeah, you're where you belong. You're where you belong. Let's put him in D. It probably should be C tier, cause like 3%. Yeah, okay, I'll put it in C. You guys have complained about my tier list percentages for a while. So Archer, second worst tier 4. Not surprised. It just stinks, man. Like the AoE is so bad from it, and it just gets nulled by like so many units. Like you could send mass imps into archers, and they're bad now, right? Like how does that make sense? Shouldn't archer be good in imps? No, because there's too many units, so the damage just gets spread and you don't kill anything. But it is what it is. Honeyflower. Yeah, now isn't it funny that as I've said, AoE being weak, you've got 3 AoE units as the worst tier 4s, right? Am I surprised? No. I'm a little surprised by Flower being this low, but these are all AoE units, and we know that the meta is just destroying AoE, and Mole got stronger, right? So AoE is even weaker now, you know, in the current patch. But yeah, Honeyflower, little disappointed in that. Little disappointed. I've been enjoying Flower lately. And next up we have Mudman. Mudman is the 4th worst. I think that percent probably dictates a C tier. It's just got to come down to the harden, right? And that's the thing about Mudman is it's just so difficult to correctly guess. Should I harden? Do I not harden? Do I use harden to bait ascend? I try that a lot and it doesn't work, right? Because the de-hardened Mudman is really weak. But I mean, it's still it's like we said, like that's pretty close to B tier, middle mark, a little below 50%, but that's Mudman. APS, another one of those, right? Another one of those. Would APS be in B? Or, it's probably still C, right? It's below 48%. Yeah, APS. I'm gonna guess. I didn't check. I didn't check the numbers. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna guess APS probably had one of the smallest sample sizes of all of this because, like I said, who's jumping out for APS? Who's really like, let me get APS in my role, right? Oh, I've got all these tier 4s. APS, that's the one I want to go with. No, come on. Don't lie to yourself. You know it. You know APS is not getting jumped on. But it's okay. It's all right. All right. And our next on the leaderboard is Grarl, and I think that should be in B, right? At least percentage-wise. I don't think it should be in B, right? Based on my opinion, but based on percentages, we're at 48.5. Grarl is there. Yeah, I mean, what's there to say about Grarl? It's a boring unit. Like Yad has King Claw, Yad has Ocean Templar, which I guess are kind of exciting. But like I said, I'm losing faith. I'm losing faith in Grarl lately. I would not be surprised if in the future that drops down to like 46% unless they buff it, you know? I think it probably drops a good percent or so. But we'll see what happens. Next up, we have Pilgrim at 49.2. Getting pretty close to that 50% win rate. It's pretty solid. You know, I do remember I had Pilgrim in B tier, and I think that's, with Archer, the only the second unit I've gotten right so far, based on win probabilities. But I feel like they're getting it right. Like the game is getting it right. Pilgrim is used adequately. The win rate is also adequate. It's just a good overall unit. Has some pros, has some cons, has some cool things, has some not cool things. I feel like it's in a good spot. Pilgrim is in a really good spot. Next up, we have Wander. Whoa, what a jump. What a jump. Now 51 points. That almost jumps it into the S tier, no? We're going to put it in A, though. Man, that is I got these percents right? That is a huge win rate right there. 51.5. So I guess I should add Wander in my A tier, right? Remember we were saying A or B, B plus, A minus. I was that close to getting it right. Pretty massive when you think about the difference between Mudman and Wander being like, what, 4%? 3% difference? That is interesting. Yeah, I guess just the miss hardens and the Wander, you don't have any mistakes to be made. Incredible. Butcher, I could totally see it being really good. Like literally, you can use Butcher in so many different ways. Not surprised by that it being A tier, as I did get that one right also. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Butcher, good job. Next up, we have Crab Warlock. Crab Warlock in second. Now, I might make some people mad, but I'm going to put Crab Warlock in the S tier just so that I can match the S tier, even though there's a difference of percentage points by 0.1 with Butcher, right? I'm going to do that. I don't care. It's above 50%. It's S tier. Crab Warlock is S tier for me. It's S tier for win probabilities. Now, I will say, I need to put a disclaimer. Crab Warlock's win rate over the last 4 patches has declined massively. It would have had a 55% or 54% win rate if I did not count the last 2 patches. Okay. The last 2 patches, it's been like 50s, low 50 to 51, which killed the number. So just so you know, Crab Warlock is on a decline. That's probably, as many people say, because of the pack leader. Pack leader has been destroying Crab Warlocks. But with that being said, I still think it's S tier. I still love the unit, and the win rate is still pretty sizably above 50% when you think about these win rates. So I'm keeping it in S tier. You can suck it. And the number 1 unit of tier 4s in the last 4 patches is Warpwing with 52.6% win rate. And I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed by that. Like, I know that I used it a ton to get like easy wins, but I really haven't played it that much recently because I felt like it wasn't that strong. But I guess you guys are proving that I should play Warpwing again, and then I'm gonna get it nerfed again, right? If I played Warpwing at 52.6% win rate, it will be nerfed in the next patch. So maybe I should leave it alone for you guys. But Warpwing, I mean, it's a solid. It's like Protons and Atoms, right? Like, and Yuzoras. You know, I think those pure damage units are usually going to be pretty good, right? Pure damage units you can literally place on any wave and not really get in trouble. So it does kind of make sense. But that's going to be it for the win probabilities. Let's just check real quick. We got Crab right, because I kind of cheated. We got Butcher right. Almost were right on Wander. Pilgrim right. Pretty surprised by Grarl. Really surprised the difference between Wander and Mudman. Yeah, 4.1% difference with how similar they are. Interesting. And then the AoEs being at the bottom. Not too surprising. What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and today we're doing the Tier 5 tier list of Legion TD2 units. And as always, I will be doing my opinion first. I'll be ranking how I like the units, how I feel they are in the current meta, maybe how I like or dislike them. And then after I'm completed with my tier list, I will then go over the win probabilities and then stack the units in the tier list based on wherever their win percentage would place them, whether they're S tier, like way over 50%, or D tier if they're like way in the low 40s or something like that. All right, let's start with Antler. Super good unit. It's an aura unit. It's a great natural tank. Overall, like I feel like I've got to put it pretty high. I'm going A tier right after the start. I don't think it's quite S tier, but I do think A tier is fair just because, I mean, it's one of the best auras in the game. You've got gates. You can put any tank in the world on it. You could do like Giga Sovereigns, Giga Zerkers with Tree of Life, and then the white main, Chieftain Cheese units with the white main. But I think what can't give it the S tier is it's not like you can run your entire game around it. It is an amazing support unit, an amazing tank, but I don't think it quite hits that S tier echelon. But I think Antler's great unit. Leave it alone. I like where it's at. Berserker. I used to really like Berserker more than I probably do now. I don't think it's great, just because like all those waves you think it's gonna cook on. Like wave 10, yes, it's still probably the best unit in the entire game on wave 10, right? Like Fatalizer wave 10 is incredible. But I feel like 13, 18, and 20, it has fallen off with so many nerfs over time. And I'm gonna sort of skip ahead and say Halo the same way. So I just don't feel like I can put an A, but I don't think I need to overreact and put it in C tier. I think it's fairly balanced. It does have its good waves, but it's not a slam dunk on any of like I said, 13, even 16, 18, 20. It used to be like A, if not S tier at some point. But I feel like now it's fairly well balanced. Maybe it's even a little weak for what it's supposed to do with the ramping damage. But Berserker's okay. It's good. I like it. I play it a decent amount. But I don't think I'm automatically going to win games because, oh, I've got that perfect cover for that wave. No, not really. Not really. All right, Disciple, this is going to be easy. I mean, it's literally one of the best units in the entire game. Yes, it does synergize with my favorite unit, Crab Warlocks. It does synergize with Crab Warlocks. The amount of things you can do with Disciples is crazy. You could literally have Starcaller and just Disciples on the Starcaller aura. You could have Steeds, you could have Sovereigns, you could have Gates. I mean, every mana unit in the game you could put on that, and there's probably a 30 or 40 unit. Well, no, there probably is close to 30 units, right? That's not crazy. There might actually be 30 units. I might be just going crazy. There's a lot of units that mana works with, okay? And it pairs well with Magician. So you can literally have like the strongest Magician overpowered thing. Come on. Who doesn't like Disciples? It's amazing. There's not much more to be said about them. Just make sure you're using the aura correctly, and you're chilling. I mean, it's pure ability damage from the big shot. It does hit bosses hard. It hits those big waves hard, and it can even still be good on like the AoE waves, right, where there's lots of creeps. If you have a ton of Disciples, so it cooks. Gun. I don't know about gun. Like, I'm gonna let you know I'm right in between A and B. I'm right in between A and B for gun right now, and I don't know which way I want to lead. I think I'm gonna go A because I think gun is better than Zerker, so I have to have it a tier above. I mean, it's an okay start, you know. Like, I don't start it that much, but when I do, I still feel like the games go pretty well. It lost that upper echelon like a long time ago. I don't even know if a lot of you guys are going to be new players and you're not going to know this. The gun originally would do more damage, sort of like, it's exactly like a catapult. It would do more damage the farther away units were. So if you had it absolutely at the farthest range possible, it was doing the maximum amount of damage. And if the units were attacking the gun or like one tile away, it was doing the lowest amount of damage. And it was a huge difference. Now, gun is just the same damage. Right? It's just the same damage, just needs to be in the range. It's still good damage, but I don't think it's an S tier anymore. And Ram's hurt it pretty bad. I think Ram and it losing that super damage effect is what definitely drops it from S tier. But I still think it's a really solid unit. You can build your game around it fairly easily. And as long as you have like one magic unit, I mean, when are you really that weak? Like, yeah, you're weak on 13, 15. That's about it. I mean, yeah, 18, but even 18, you're not that bad with the gun. So, I don't know. I think gun's solid. Nightmare. D tier. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. This unit is almost unusable in the current meta. I used to love Nightmare Butcher. I used to love it. It was like my favorite combo. Like, everybody would ask me. Dan Wolf and Shadowwings would always like, tell me to play Nightmare Butcher. Tell me to play Nightmare Butcher. And it worked until they kept nerfing it and nerfing it. And it just sucks now. So number one, first things first, it has no HP, right? Yes, its damage is amazing. But it has no HP. So if it gets targeted, it's toast. Number two, it gets targeted randomly because it's faster. There's something in the dang system that will have a Nightmare that's behind a unit run in front of things and get targeted first. It is so insane. That's the second thing. The third thing, from my perspective, it's completely unusable without an aura. If you don't have an aura, you can't use the unit. Okay, and I'm gonna just skip ahead and tell you, every one of these other tier 5s can be used without an aura. This is the only unit that you really are risking your whole game. If you don't have Butcher, if you don't have APS, if you don't have Ocean Templar, if you don't have Tree of Life, if you don't have something, or even Dark Mage, right? You need something to help the Nightmare. If it's just a Nightmare and a Doppelganger by itself, you're cooked. Good luck. This unit stinks right now. And it sucks because it used to be like the OG, you know? Used to be you'd play Forsaken, one of the legions, and you would know exactly how to do it. You'd go your Nightmare, and then the Butcher, and then the Guards, and then the LOD for your 15 and 11. Nah, Nightmare, you stink. You know what? While we're on that parade, put Poda in S tier. Priestess of the Abyss, you're going in C tier right now. Not D tier, I won't jump that crazy. What did they do to her? Why so many changes to Poda? You broke my heart. She was my favorite unit. She was my Crab Warlock for the first 2 years I played this game. And then what happened, okay, I'll be honest, is people abused her in Classic. In the 4v4 mode, Priestess of the Abyss was the ultimate cheese. You would chieftain her, you'd have a bunch of Desert Pilgrims, or upgraded to Lost Chieftains, giving her huge buffs so she had crazy HP, and then you would have a ton of steeds, and she would face tank everything. And the mana would give her heals. The mana would give her heals. And the heal would be so massive because she has so much HP, she would never die. You wouldn't lose a single unit. It was the coolest thing ever. But people abused it. Okay, people abused it in Classic. And so what they had to do, unfortunately, is make her worse in the entire game. Yeah. So now she gets a flat rate heal as opposed to missing HP or whatever, or an HP percentage amount. It's just, she's not what she used to be. Even with Poda Mask, I'm not even that excited to use her. Also, I play a lot of Fiesta, so I have stepped farther away from Poda, where you don't really want a Fiesta with Poda, in my opinion. Yeah. Not a fan of what they did to her. And let's have the Halo join the Poda in the C tier. And it sort of has the same thing that the Berserker had, where the supposed strong waves of Radiant Halo, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling like Halo on 10 doesn't even hold for me anymore. Theta? Yes. Theta does its job on 10. It still has 10. I'm still happy with the Wave 10 performance of Fatalizers. Halo? Arc of Justice? No. It's not holding big sends on 10 anymore. And these are the same gold. So yeah, they're the same gold cost. Same gold cost, right? They're both supposed to be super giga single target damage. And Arc of Justice is underperforming compared to Fatalizer. And the same thing, it's underperforming on Wave 20. It's underperforming on Wave 18. I don't know what they're doing to these single target damage units. Like what are they doing? These three right here are getting weaker. But there are still some good things with it. If you have Flying Force, with Leviathans, it can still work. But I'm still not putting it in B. I still think it belongs in C tier. I'm sorry. Halo, you're C tier. Please let me know what you guys think. Am I overreacting to some of these units? Am I placing them too low? Or am I reacting convincingly? Because I think it stinks. I think it stinks. These changes are making these units worse. Tier 5s are getting weaker and weaker, except for the Aura units. My Aura units up there, right there. Bingo. Those are my two juicers. All right. Iron Scales. I love Iron Scales. I'm going to go with A. I'm going to go with A with Iron Scales. An amazing arcane tank. No, it does not have an aura. I get that. But I think we have to give a little love to arcane tanks. I mean, arcane tanks at the end of the day are, from my opinion, probably the most important in the entire game. As 7 and 8 probably causes the most king damage early. Although 6 is definitely on the rise right now. Wave 6 is nasty. I've been getting my butt kicked on Wave 6. But 7 and 8 for a long time have been the nasty early waves. And then 14, 15 in the mid game. Guess what? Those are arcane, right? And there's a lot of impact arcane needed on those waves also. So yeah, I love Badgers. I think they're the right unit. They actually have the most HP in the entire game, I believe, for a tank. And I like Tree of Lifing them. Supposedly people say it's not worth to Tree of Life them, but it just looks cool. It just looks cool. I versed this guy recently, and on Wave 14, his Iron Scales with Tree of Life tank 24,000. 4x. I believe it has 6,000 and change health points, and it tanked 24,000 because of the Tree of Life, and it was still alive. It was the coolest thing. I think we lost the game, but it was still cool to see, you know? Yozora. Give me a sec. It's either A or S. It is a swift tank. It does have late game potential because of the pure damage. Has the slow effect. When is it bad? When is Yozora really bad? Right? Is Yozora bad enough to drop it into A tier? Or am I going to go Yozora S tier? I love Yozora, man. I really like it. I used to call her Yozira when I first started playing the game. I feel like I'm going to put her right there. I don't think I can quite do S tier. S tier, I think, for me is just for Disciple at this point. Great tank. Can spam them. The slow effect is cool. The late game is amazing. Very few weak waves when you think about it, since the pure damage, yes, they are swift, so that makes them weak as tanks, but the additional things makes it way better. I like my Yozoras. I do. Because I love playing for overtime, right? I love playing for wave 21 onward, so if you have a 21 onward unit, I'm going to be in love. Pulsebot Skybot. I need to not be too biased here, but we've got a lot of room here. Oh, nope, right there. We've got a lot of room here in this A tier. I think it's an A tier unit. I love the ability damage thing. I mean, all of its damage is ability damage, right? Yes, it is AoE, but it still smacks pretty hard. The only downside is that I will say I don't like opening it, but other people have opened it and it works really well. I personally don't like opening Pulsebot, but I think in the early mid to late game, this thing is juicy, right? Honestly, one of the weirdest things I've seen lately is I build it on wave 19 and it cooks. Wave 19, it is impact fortified and it's supposed to be pierce fortified. And for some reason, they're just so good. And that's without flying force, without a rogue wave, without APS. I think they're a really good unit. I really like the pull spot. I think they're a solid unit. I think they're pretty solid. But I think that wraps it up for my opinion side of this. Disciple, you belong in S tier. There's no doubt about it, in my opinion. Gun, really close. New unit pull spot is great. Yuzora, it's always going to be an OG for me. And it's still good. It hasn't gotten hit by these baloney nerfs. At least not that I've seen. Or that have been game-changing. We got the Aura from Antler. One of the best arcane tanks in the game. Fade Lives are wave 10. That's the only reason it's getting B. That's the only reason I'm putting it as B is because of wave 10. That's it. Pota's getting her butt nerfed off. Nightmare's on the downslope. Halo's also on the downslope and getting nerfed. Yeah, feels good. So this is going to be my opinion. And now we can jump into the win percentage probabilities. All right. Now that we have that reset, the number one worst, right? The worst unit of tier 5s is going to be Priestess of the Abyss. Right there in the D tier. I guess I gave her a little bit too much love. I'm not surprised at all. I mean, if you keep nerfing a unit, they're going to get worse. What do you expect to happen? You know? It's just not as strong anymore. I won't get too much in my soapbox. Just in case you were wondering, this is based off the last 4 patches. That is how I generated the win rate from 1600 elo and above. It's the basis of sample size that Drakbot uses. But yeah, Priestess, I'm not surprised. I mean, she needs some help. She needs some reversion. Revert her back to her old stage, man. Don't let the classic gamers affect rank gamers, okay? Because that's what happened. Sad. The second worst unit of tier 5s. Nightmare. Nightmare. All right, we're keeping you in D because that means I got it right. Once again, not surprised. Not surprised at all. These, I feel like I got an A++ on these. Nightmare's just getting worse over time, and Pota keeps getting nerfed. So, not too surprising. And just one thing to say on Nightmare. A long time ago, when I first started playing the game, you would never, ever send Doppelbutcher Wave 12. Never, ever, ever try it. In the last year, people send Doppelbutcher Wave 12 all the time, and it leaks all the time. It no longer has strong waves. It has good waves, okay, but there's certain units that, like, you just can't send that wave, right? Like Starcaller Steeds. You can't send 15, right? You would never do that. Flying Force Hades, you would never send 15. A Doomsday with APS, you would never send that 14. And it used to be the same thing. If you had Nightmare Butcher with the double buff, right? How could you ever send that wave 12, right? Well, you can now. It stinks. All right, the third worst unit of tier 5s is Antler. All right, that kind of threw me for a loop right there. I didn't expect that one. Antler is the third worst. Okay, 47.4%. I didn't really say the win rates, by the way. 44.7 for Priestess, 46.4 for Nightmare, 47.4% for Antler. That surprises me. I'm not gonna lie. That one kind of hit me hard. I definitely missed on that one. Not gonna take any shots at people, but I did recently see a build that had 6 white mains surrounding a white main. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. It had 6 white mains surrounding a white main. Okay, just saying that's kind of a whoopsie, right? You don't get any extra buff for putting white mains on white mains. Just like you wouldn't put star callers on star callers. But so be it, Antler. Got to get that win rate up, buddy. Buff it. It'll help my win rate. The next worst, Iron Scales. Okay. Iron Scales? Iron Scales? Really? I wouldn't have expected that one. Okay. Yeah, no, the Sand Badger, Iron Scales, man, that stinks. I guess I should be calling this the Badger, right? But Iron Scales just has my heart. Like, I'm always trying to make it into an Iron Scales. Dang, dude, 48.5%. Surprising. Okay, so be it. Next up, we have Yozora, tied with Iron Scales. So they're tied together. They have the same win rate at 48.5%. I mean, a lot of these are tanks, right? All these C tiers right here, win probability based, 47 to 48.5%. They're all tanks, right? So maybe people are just putting a little bit too much love into the tanks and not enough into the damage. And just so we know, Nightmare and Priestess is no longer damaged. So just so you know, I know they're ND, they're not damage, right? They are not. All right, well, that was some surprising numbers right there. Okay, so be it. The 6th, maybe we'll get some better win percentages here. The 6th is Berserker, 48.9%. I'm gonna put that one in B. That's close enough to 50 for me, and it means I'm right. Not surprised. It's still a decent unit. It's just not like a carry unit on certain waves anymore. And it kind of has some damage, right? Certain waves it has that scaling ability damage thing, and it does do damage. But it really depends. It really depends. And next up, we're getting to the higher ups here. We have Pulse Spot, 49.2%. Pulse Spot, we'll keep that in the B tier. It's still below 50%, so that's pretty relatively balanced, I would say. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's a newer unit. The win rate isn't too abusive. It's not too bad. I mean, it's a pretty well balanced unit, I'd say. It was really strong at first, right? And they had to. Actually, it wasn't really strong at all. They had to tweak it, right? They had to tweak it a couple of times. Too strong, too weak, too everything. But I think now I'd say it's in a good spot. Pulse Spot, Skybot, flying almost to 50% win rate. Radiant Halo, 50.8%. I'm gonna throw up. I'm shocked. That one, I don't understand, to be honest. I might have to go back to Drakbot and check out those numbers. Radiant Halo, 50.8%. I've got nothing. The only thing I would say is back in the day when I first started playing, right? I'm really going back into... I'm feeling old, guys. I'm feeling old. A couple of years streaming and making content now. I'm feeling it. I was always told to send dinos on ranged waves. That was like the best send. Halo would pretty much shred dinos, right? Halo's going to shred dinos. So I'm going to blame this win rate on people sending dinos into Halos. That's probably what it is. That's the only thing it could be. Probably has nothing to do with how I play and everything to do with how other people play. But hey, A tier for a Halo. Impressive. The second best tier 5 in the last 4 patches is Disciple. Oh, I'm putting it in S tier. 52 is high enough. I'm counting that for me. 52.4% for Disciple. 100% expected. Not surprised at all. It's one of the best. I mean, you literally could just build Disciples only, and you'd probably do pretty good. All right, you could do a 1 unit only challenge with Disciple and Star Callers, and you would kill everything before it even got to your board, to your units. So, not surprised. And the number 1 must be Gun then at 53.8%. 53.8%. Your best unit, tier 5s, is going to be Gatling Gun into Vulcan. Wish I'd put it in S. Wish I'd put it in S tier, not A tier. You know, I was close. I had it really close there. But yeah, Gatling Gun in S tier. Not too surprised. I mean, it's good to build your board around, like I said. There are certainly some weak waves, but if you literally have 1 magic damage unit, like 1 LOD, I guess 1 Halo, right? 1 Halo, since people are saying Halo's good. It'll cover your weak waves pretty decently. And let's not forget Looter Gun. Looter Gun, you guys remember it? But yeah, okay, that's going to do it. That is the win probabilities. I think I did pretty decent. Really good on Nightmare and Poda. Not so good on Halo. And then I guess I could have been better on Yozora, on my C tiers. My C tiers should have been in my A tiers. The tanky units did a lot worse win probability than I would have guessed. But what of these rankings surprised you guys? Please let me know. What's up, guys? My name's Doofus Mcdooface, and this is Tier 6 of my Legion TD2 tier lists. And today we will be finishing the series. As in all of the others, this is going to be my opinion of where I think these Tier 6 units fit in a tier list. And then in the back half, I will be doing the win probability sort of tier list. That means I will be looking at the last 3 or 4 patch win rates. I've calculated those for you guys. And then we will put each unit into a tier list. Let's say like 52%, 51% for S tier. D tier is like the low 40%. B tier around 50, give or take 49, maybe 50.5, things like that. But this is the last video. Please like, and let's get into it. Firelord is such a tough one to start with here. That is because I enjoy the unit, but damn is it hard to play with. It is really tough to split with Firelord. If it is perfect, it is amazing. If it is bad, it is really bad. I'm going to go with B, because I feel like a perfect Firelord, a perfect Phoenix, belongs in S double plus tier. I recently had one of the craziest games. I had a full set of Sacred Steeds into Pegasus with Magician, and only one magic unit on my board. That unit. A Phoenix that was tanking a ton. No vamp, no heals, just the mana to absorb each attack. It literally tanked like 30,000 damage. It was amazing. And I have other games. Actually, later in that game, it died instantly. So it went from being the coolest unit ever to not so cool. So it can be S tier and it can be D tier. I feel like B. I feel like it's... I wouldn't say it's balanced because it's so hard to play, but I feel like it's balanced for those who know how to play it and those who don't know how to play it. I feel like it's kind of in the middle. So I'm going to put Firelord in B tier. Holy Avenger. I'm in love, to be honest. I mean, I love the splash. I'm thinking S tier for now, but I might change it. I'm going to start with S tier. I have an amazing win rate with Holy Avenger and Sovereign. I've been doing really good this year. This year specifically, I have improved my Holy Avenger Sovereign gameplay. That splash effect has been really nice. The only thing is, if it does not go off, if it does not get to its spell ability, it stinks. But for me personally, I've been so good lately about making sure it does go off. My win rate has showed, and I'm going to keep it in S tier for right now. We might change it, but for now, I do like it. Yes, it's 1,000 times better with Tree of Life, Butcher, APS, Magician, Steeds, Dark Mages, right? APS. There's so many things that make it better, but I feel like it's so unlikely to get this unit and none of those other things that I think it's still acceptable. So, S tier, I'm keeping you there. Egg sack. I can't save eggs, man. I can't save an egg to save my life on wave 3. I'm getting roboed and brooded every time. But damn are they good. Damn are they good. I'm going to go A. And this might be a little biased. It probably should be S tier. Egg is absolutely game changer. It's so good. Maybe I talk myself into putting egg in S. But the fact of the matter is, if your egg doesn't get hatched, it loses so much value. And what egg can do is give you that safety feel of like, oh, I'm like 200 over, and then you leak because it's still like natural impact, gets shredded by imps, you know, witches. There's so many things that kind of hurt it. But it is a great tank. It can change games. It's A. It's S. It's S. It's A. It's S. I think it has to be S because like how many other units in the game absolutely change games? right? Like you can literally come back from being down 1,000 power score with eggs. And if I know I'm not supposed to say this because I'm trying to focus more on ranked, in Classic, this is insta win. Insta winning. If one team has eggs and the other doesn't matter how far behind you are. If that person places eggs correctly, the game's over. So I'm gonna keep eggs in S for now. We'll think about it. Red Eyes Great Boar, you suck. You suck so bad. You suck so bad because of the AoE stuff. Like, I've been talking about AoE being destroyed most of my tier lists, and I'm sticking with it with the boars. They are not what they once were. I'm not impressed. Me personally, I still play them, but like I don't feel great. When I was newer to the game, I would get Disciple Boar. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I would get Zeus Boar. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I would get Halo Boar. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Now I see those rolls. Is there anything else I can play? Do I have any other unit combinations? They're just not as good anymore. Like Mole Hermit is even good enough into it. Like Honey Bears. You have Honey Bears on top of Mole Hermit? Nah. They stink. Maybe it's a slight overreaction, but I'm going to go with D. Bunk, sort of the same thing. But here's what Bunk has. Bunk has that early game feel that makes it worth. I have changed games on 7 with Bunk. I've changed games on 9 with Bunk, on 8 with Bunk. I've actually been really into Havens on 10, Havens on 11. Boar doesn't do any of that. Boar doesn't do any of that. And then they're literally both Pierce fortified. Also 14, it has changed games. And then it starts to fall off. I mean, how many of these tier 6s fall off in the late game? I don't feel like Haven on 19 is that great. 18, it's worthless. 20, it's not great. It's the worst tier 6 in overtime. But I still feel like that early to mid game, it can do great things. So I'm going to put Bunk in C tier. It's where I feel like it belongs. LOD. Oh. Dude, I'm going to do it. I mean, these are just some of my favorite things, right? Eggs. You guys love the egg videos. I love the egg videos. I love Holy Avenger when it pops off. I love spawning 8,000 Hades. These are some of my favorite units. So I think they belong in S tier. The ability to spawn dragons covering the mid, spawning dragons with a gazillion steeds. Like, these are the cool spawner units that I love. And this one has the damage, right? This one has the damage to carry. So I enjoy. Oh, my dog is having a bad dream. Maybe he doesn't feel like Lord of Death is S tier. But Wilfred, it's S tier. It's S tier. Lord of Death, Hades is S tier. The only downside I will say is that something like Starcaller and Magician, if you really look at it, the mana that you generate from Starcaller buff and Magician buff is very small compared to Hades. Dude, this is crazy. To Hades overall mana pool. Hey, Bubba! Sorry, guys. Please like the video. Please like and comment. Someone might say that Lord of Death in S tier is a bad idea. I guess that's what he's thinking. I still love it. But yeah, the mana required is a lot, right? It is a lot, but it's still awesome. I still like it. Let's move on. Millennium with APS. The only deterrent is really GKs. It does cook. It's really good. I don't even want to say a lot about Millennium. Like, it's a good unit. It's a good unit. It's expensive. But it's game changer on the waves you get it. 13, 14. That impact damage is just critical. But what for me, I can't put it in S tier, is like, I feel like these 3 units can do really good on bad waves. You know, waves where they're not actually strong, like on a 17 Magic. 17, the Avenger, right, is not supposed to be great. 19, the Avenger is not supposed to be great. At least these 2 carry units. I feel like Millennium on bad waves is It doesn't have that pop-off ability like these tier 6s. But yeah, APS, Dark Mage, I think it's still really good. It would be like A plus tier for me. But for me, I love these units. I get excited when I see them. I don't get as excited with Millennium, even with the APS. So, Shadow Dancer. I'm going to go as low as C. To start, I'm going to go C. It may be B, but it's just not as good anymore, dude. I think it's hilarious. I'm going to make fun of myself. When this unit first came out, it was amazing and horrible to play against because it could spawn any number of clones. It was RNG based. It wasn't based off pure attacks. And you could have the clones be healed by Ocean Templar, back when Ocean Templar had magic resistance too. So you could have like some of the craziest builds ever with this unit. And then now it's no RNG. It's just based off attacks. And then the Ocean Templar's not as good anymore, right? So when I'm thinking about Shadow Dancer. And the fact of the matter is, I just don't see it actually spawning clones as much as it should. That could just be me. For me, I just don't feel like Shadow Dancer fits well into my builds. I just don't love it that much. And honestly, I haven't really lost to it that much either. So I'm not really scared when I see Shadow Dancer Dread Knight like I was a long time ago. You guys might like it, but I feel like C for clones because it's cloning around. Gates. That might break some hearts. Everybody here loves Gates. I love Gates. But the fact is, it's also not as great as it once was, right? It's just not. Now when you have gazillion buffs, when you have the Tree of Life, when you have the White Mane, or the Starcaller, or the Ocean Templar, even though Ocean Templar is still okay without magic resistance, it is very good. But Pack Leader's strong against it now. Imps are still amazing. It can't kill Krakens. It can't kill GKs, right? It needs complementary units. It can be amazing, but the fact is it usually needs complementary units for it to be great. It can be amazing, right? Like, I feel like this is the same thing as Firelord. Could be S with all the buffs, and it could be D if you're just placing gates randomly, right? If you don't know how to place gates, could totally be a D tier, and you get squished. And you're like, I thought gates were supposed to be great. I only got one spawn out with my tier 6. Yeah, so you really do need to know how to play gates. So I feel like B for balance is okay. Catapult. I'm going to make a statement here. And I'm just going to put it right next to Millennium. They're still just the same damn unit. For me, they're still the same unit. The only difference is Catapult does a little bit more damage and needs to be placed a little bit differently and doesn't have the AoE. Now, that is 3 things. But I still feel like Catapult for me, interchangeable. Some games I use it. Some games I choose Millennium. It just depends how I'm feeling. It's really good, right? It's great on those boss waves. Absolutely horrific on 15. Absolutely horrific on 15 and 16. But other waves, it is outstanding, 17, it's probably a little bit better than Millennium. Kind of sucks on 18, to be honest. But it's still really good. It's still really good. I feel like they belong together. Yeah. So if I'm just looking, I've got 3 Pierce units, 2 Magic units, 4 out of 5 Impact units, and then the 1 outlier is a Magic unit. Is Impact in this patch? Or these patches? I don't know. So this is going to be my opinion here, guys. I hope you guys agree with me, disagree with me. Let me know. But that was my opinion. Let's move on to the next part, which is going to be... Let me add the catapult. And it didn't mess up, so we're just going to have this in the video. Another chance for you to like and comment. But this will be now the win rates. Like I said, this is taken from the last 3 to 4 patches. Yes, it is from 1600 elo and up, so it can be drastically different depending on what elo bracket you're in, but I still think this encompasses fairly decently how well the unit is accepted by the community, win rate wise. So the first and worst unit of tier 6s in the last few patches is Banana Bunk. Okay. I mean, I had it, in the C tier? I thought it'd be a little higher, but Banana Bunk, I guess, does have that Fire Lord thing too, where the placement is important, being that it is 200 range. It is AoE, so I'm not too surprised that it's super low, but it's not bad. And I will say, honestly, it probably should be C tier. Like, if you think about the win rates we've had prior, with our other tier list, 47.7 is quite high. That's pretty close. Because what are we gonna do? 2 D tiers at 47.7, and then 2 C tiers at 48.1, and then Bunk is C tier. I don't think 47.7 belongs in D tier. And next up we have Fire Lord. I mean, interchangeable, right? I mean, they're different things, but I'm saying they're interchangeable in the fact that the positioning is really important, right? These are 2 really, really important positioning units. Outside of Catapult, I guess Catapult, the positioning does matter a lot too. And Boars. Okay, a lot of these units, position matters. But these are really, really technical, and if you screw them up, it kind of sucks, right? If your Bunk is placed super far ahead and it tanks everything, it's not as great. If your Fire Lord just insta-dies, not as great. If your Fire Lord doesn't tank that much, not as great. Right? So, there are some downsides. Third up, we have... What? Alright, that one kind of... I didn't even mentally, when I was doing the stats, I must not have actually, mentally... That was, a subconscious, evident thing I did. How is that so low? What are you guys doing to my Holy Avenger? Honestly, keep it low. Maybe it gets buffed. Maybe it gets buffed, and I continue winning, because I've got to say that it's in my top 5 best win rate units this season. So please keep losing with it, and I will have more wins. And it's just got to be the fact that it's not going off, right? Has to be the fact that it's not going off. If it doesn't go off, yeah, it's a C tier unit in that case. And next up, we have Great Boar. And we're so close to 50%, I guess we got to put it in B. I think that's outrageous. I'm just going to say I don't think people know how to send against it. Are you sending ogres into boars or something? Are you sending brutes into boars or something? Boars should not be this high. It should be well below 50%. I'm gonna get on my soapbox here and say there's no reason for Great Boar to have a near 50% win rate. It is not what it used to be. Unless, of course, maybe it's theoretically possible that when I was playing Boars, the win rate was one of those 52, 53%ers, and it has dropped substantially. But me seeing 49.4 doesn't look substantial difference. It is possible. But yeah, that's still surprising to me. The 5th worst unit is Dancer. We're at 51.2 though. I mean, I guess that just hops it into the A tier. Another surprising one. I'm getting shredded here on these win rates. Yeah, I mean 1% over. That should be A tier. Shadow Dancer 51.2. My goodness. I don't know. I need to start playing some of you guys. If you guys have that high win rate with Boars and Dancer, I'm ready to queue up against you guys. Respectfully, I am ready to queue up against those Great Boar and Shadow Dancer spammers. Please join my games. But the win rate is the win rate. So the 6th highest win rate for tier 6s is Lord of Death at 51.5. And I can't cheat and put that in the S tier. That's still A tier. That's solid. I feel good about that. This has maybe been my worst performance ever, matching the meta numbers, but not bad. Lord of Death, good unit, good win rate. Feel good about that. Millennium, sort of the same, right? I mean, Millennium, I think I nailed on the head. It's a solid unit. Nothing to jump around about. Couple of weak waves, couple of strong waves. Solid tier 6. Good. It's good where it's at. It's good. And are we approaching S tier yet? Let us see. 52% still kind of that A. Soulgate, so that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that Soulgate's in 52%. I wouldn't have guessed that. I haven't been winning as much with gates, you know, as I used to. But it's good to see that other people are, because I love the unit. Like it's gotta be in my top 5 or 6 most fun units. Because you guys know I love spawners. I love my crab warlocks. I love my my Lord of Death, my Hades. I love my gates, right? What other, is that it? Is that it for spawners? That might be it, right? I mean, I love those 3 units. I love that they spawn units. It goes back to like the Theos and Squadron Tower Defense, if you ever played that. I remember it quite well. It's pretty cool. So that's cool. Good job on the gate, guys. Good job, meta. Catapult? What the heck? And that sounds like an S tier from 53% catapult. It's only 1.4% different from Millennium. It's a slight variation, more than I would expect. And honestly, I'm really surprised the catapult's that high, because I mean, you would think the positioning is pretty important. You would think the positioning is pretty important since it increases the amount of damage if it's like the farthest away. But clearly people know what they're doing with the catapults. So maybe I need to start playing catapult more. That is actually pretty interesting to me. Catapult 53.1. And that means, Egg, you are the #1 win rate at 57.1%. Uh-oh, don't let Jules see this. Egg is getting nerfed, guys. Holy, that's the highest, right? The last unit win probability that I show in all of my tier lists happens to be the highest win rate, Egg Sack 57.1. That is abnormal. Actually kind of surprising that Egg hasn't gotten messed with. And 57.1, that's like beyond, that's uncontrollable. Like that's just crazy. Like that's like lock in Egg angle. I might try that. I'm gonna be streaming some games, of course, and I might be locking in Egg just to try. That is a great number. And I guess it goes to show, like, you can still win the game even when your egg dies. It's still solid. You can place more eggs. You can force your opponents to continue setting. You can overbuild an egg. Yeah. That is good to know. Okay, Egg Sack 57.1. Well, I hope that shocks you guys. I hope that was a shocking end to this video. Definitely shocked me. I had Egg in S tier, but I did not have it in S double plus tier. You know, I mean, that's outrageous. That makes up for a lot of those win rates. We had some like tier, I think was it tier 4 or tier 5 that we had a lot of like sub 50%. Like the majority was sub 50%. And it makes you think, like, where is that opposite win rate probability that's equaling out at 50%? Because all of them have to add up to 50%, of course. And I guess Egg Sack is the reason that some of those things are so low. And Egg Sack is making up for that difference. That is the variation. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I will definitely make more tier lists in the future. But let me know what you guys think about these tier 6s. Were you as surprised by some of these win rates as me? Because Holy Avenger kind of hurt me. And Egg being that high, kind of wild. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.